Now, with his band The Shadows, he spent more weeks at #1 than anyone else apart from Elvis and the Beatles. And with a career spanning well over 50 years, Hank Marvin is credited with inspiring some of the world's best guitarists. In a minute, we'll talk to Hank about his career and the release of his 15th solo album. But first, let's take a look through the archives.
4 young men who have been hitting the hit parade where it really counts. They've been on our program once before. It's great to welcome back The Shadows.
Hank is with me now, mercifully, without that shirt.
Yes, my voice blurs. Hi, Gavin. How are you?
Good to see you, Hank. Now, your 15th solo album, let's talk a little bit about that first. I mean, why? What drives you to keep going and keep playing and making music?
Look, I enjoy playing the guitar, I enjoy making music. It's always a challenge when you have to do something new. In this case, it's an album which is an interpretation, instrumental interpretation of 14 songs, 13 of which are famous tunes. And because I like to approach it a little differently from the original, obviously still keeping the essence of the tune, but you can do a different arrangement, a different approach. And that takes thought, time, and it is a challenge, and that's great. At my age, you need challenges to keep your brain active.
In terms of jazz, people obviously pursue an instrumental path. In terms of pop music, you did, and then the Beatles and more vocal groups really kicked off. So
that's right.
Does playing the way you play and taking away the voice, say, from Police or the Eagles, right, does that work in the 21st century?
It appears to, yeah, it appears to. It's interesting you mentioned that because in 1965, the Shads had a big vocal hit, a song called Don't Make My Baby Blue. And it was in the top 10 at the time, and George Harrison, George Harrison, we used to bump into each other a lot at Abbey Road because we both recorded there, and he said, I love the new record. He said, can I give you a tip or a bit of advice? I said, sure. He said, stop recording instrumentals, more vocals. Mm-hmm. We did not listen to him. But as it's turned out, it's gone pretty well.
It's gone all right. It's gone all right. Let's hear a clip from the latest album where you play with your son, I think. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Is it playing the violin there, obviously, but how is it playing with and recording with your own family? Is that good? Is it bad?
Yes, because you don't have to pay them. It's brilliant. No, seriously, it is fun because I started to teach Ben the guitar when he was about 13 years old. And then he stopped doing it for a while, then started again. And now he's a Bachelor of Music in Contemporary Guitar. He was in my band for about 12 years. And we have recorded together on several albums, and it was great. I hadn't worked with him on an album for maybe 10 years, so it was good, in fact, to be able to get back together again. Because obviously he's younger, as you probably noticed. His influences are different, so we're pooling our ideas together, coming from different directions, and it usually comes out pretty well.
I said earlier, as a sort of trail for this interview, that you've influenced some of the great guitarists, and you've also influenced quite a lot of us rotten guitarists. I mean, the fact that people wanted to play like you and just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you very proud of the fact that lots and lots of people actually took up the guitar and at least tried to play music because of you?
It's very flattering, but you know, one of the nice things is with, as you say, guys maybe who are either amateurs or semi-pros, but they still enjoy playing. That's the great thing. I often meet people who, you know, they're in their 50s or 60s, they're accountants or bricklayers, say, hey, you started me playing guitar and I still play with a few mates on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, and we love it. And I think that's wonderful. They've got a hobby, a musical hobby they love. And then, of course, the ones you mentioned who are professionals, who've subsequently developed their own style, and now they're famous in their own right. And that's also a pleasure to think I've had some kind of input in getting them off on the road.
I think they've got a few stills of you with Cliff Richard in the early days of
Sorry?
the Shadows. I don't know, I can't remember. But no, but I mean, what was it that you think broke through then? What was it that you did that made the band so famous?
I think there were probably several things. One was, I mean, obviously in the first place, Cliff had a great hit record with Move It, first real British rock and roll record. That was a big hit for him. He subsequently followed that up with other rock and roll records, and then, of course, the biggest in a while was Living Doll, which became a monster hit. The kids loved him, mums and dads started to love him, and us after Living Doll, because, hey, he can sing, they can play. We were slowly developing a sound as a group, which the public liked, and I think they liked our personalities. I think in the original Shadows, the four guys, Bruce, Jet, Tony and myself, were all different, but seemed to have an appeal with audiences. The audiences really seemed to like us, and they loved the sound we're producing. And the biggest thing, of course, was the fact that we were privileged to have some great tunes to record, like Apache, Wonderful Land, Foot Tapper, which we wrote, so it wasn't that wonderful, but...
It wasn't too bad, didn't do it too badly. Just a final thought about music now. I mean, is the era of the guitar band kind of dead? It's certainly for younger people, if you listen to the radio.
I don't know, because since some of the biggest bands in the world still are guitar-based bands. Look, I think when the synthesizers came on the scene, everyone said, oh, guitars are finished. Biggest bands in the world, Stones, obviously, Bruce Springsteen,
Eagles, who are still touring.
Eagles, you can go on and on and on.
Cetera.
However, I think there's a place in music, in popular music, indeed, for guitar and electronic instruments. They all have a part to play in this.
Hank, thanks very much for
It's
joining
my
us.
pleasure.
And Hank's new album is called Hank, and it's out on Monday.